Broadcasting from an undisclosed location under a farm pond somewhere in the Midwest. Your host is Jim Crowley. This is Slickfish Radio. We're back. Another edition right here in your face. Grab some popcorn. Grab whatever you want to sit down and enjoy, because this is going to be a good show. Welcome to Slickfish Radio. I am your host, Jim Crowley. So glad you guys are going to join us. Please feel free to comment. Let us know where you are from. Captain Steve Hunsucker from Real Deal Sport Fishing out of Clearwater, Florida. We're going to talk to him. Just an incredible charter service. I've been reading the reviews. We'll talk to him a little bit about that. People just love this guy. They love Real Deal Sport Fishing. And I thought it was time for all of you, some of you, I'm sure, you need a fishing vacation. All right. And one of the best destinations, without question, is Florida. Matter of fact, the first place I ever went to Florida when I was a kid was Clearwater, which I think is pretty cool that Steve's from there, because obviously the place has grown up many years from there. But I think he's got 3 boats. We'll talk to him all about that. Looking forward to it. There's certain species of fish he's got that are bucket list fish for me. I can't wait to talk to him about that, because I want to know a little bit more about him. I want you to know more about him. So chime in from wherever you're at. Oh my goodness. Wait till I bring Captain Steve in here and he sees the first guy who chimed on to this one. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's here with my peanuts. He's just nuts, period. That is Tim. Hi, buddy. Glad to have you. Glad to have you. Glad you are here. So first of all, I want to thank us. We're going to have a great show tonight. So just sit down, relax. If you haven't joined us before, and more of you are chipping in now, if you haven't joined us before, welcome. I tell this to all my viewers. I wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for all of you. I am blessed. I am very thankful. God bless you all for joining us tonight. I am thrilled that you are here, and we're going to have some fun. I want to thank our friends from Shields and Springfield. Always glad to have them as part of it. Lure Parts Online. We're doing a giveaway later today, or later tonight. So near the end of the show. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. So Lure Parts Online, also our friends over at Cast King. Big sales going on at Cast King as always. Plus, I'm going to give you a discount code for Cast King at the end of the show. So make sure you stay on. I'm also going to give you one for Lure Parts Online. So make sure you stay. Our friends over at Mudhole, they've got a lot of stuff going on right now. I've got a couple new episodes coming out on Wired to Fish TV. One's going to be Big Catfish on the Red River. Built that rod, and just a whole bunch of other stuff coming on. Also, our friends over at Dakota Lithium. We are powered by them. David Kizga. Hi, David. I think this might be the first time you are with us, and I am. And you know, you are sporting your Real Deal Sport Fishing shirt, so that's pretty cool. And glad you are here, Andrew. Listen, hi, Andrew. I think this might be the first time you're with us too, and I'm glad you're here tonight. Everybody, just chime in. Let us know where you're at. So glad that you are here. But you know what? You just didn't come to hear me talk. Let me bring this guy in. Captain Steve, how are you, man?
Hi, good evening, Jim. How are you?
Good, great. We've got well, David just said, how are you? I'm fine, David. Thank you for asking. Great to have you on, man. We met at ICAST, and we have somebody in common. We have a friend in common, and neither one of us can blame us. We apparently need more friends. But Tim Denmark, and Tim is a great guy, and I'm so glad he introduced us. Was watching over your stuff. I love Florida anyway. I'm there a lot every year. But Real Deal Sport Fishing, man, that is the real deal. When did you start this? How did this all happen for you?
Oh wow, I've been in business now. My wife and I have owned Real Deal Sport Fishing together since almost 10 years ago now. So we bought the Real Deal originally like 9.5 years ago. I ran the charter boat next door, and the captain that owned the Real Deal, he had told me multiple times, hey, I'm trying to sell this boat. I want to get rid of it. And I eventually gave him an offer on it. He sold it to me. And we've been there for 9.5 years. I bought another boat after that. And that's Heather in the chat. That's my lovely wife. Yep. I could not do it without her. It's been a heck of a ride. You know, we have just been in it together, grinding and working hard. The fishing industry is not the easiest industry to be in.
Right.
So we've made a living out of it, and we have 2 beautiful boys together, and it's been amazing.
First thing that comes to mind first, one of the reasons you love doing this, what's a good positive story that just right now, what's the first one comes, you go, man, I'm glad I got to take that client fishing?
Oh, let's see. Wow, I tell you what, recently, my last charter, um, and I really enjoy 99% of the charters I'm on, whether the fishing's good, whether the fishing's bad, whatever. It's really the people,
Sure.
so you get some really good people. My last fishing charter, I had a 10-hour charter. We have a very short gag grouper season this year. And I got to take a friend of mine, Carl. He lives over in Lakeland. He's actually a friend of Tim Denmark as well that we mutually know. But Carl's a really nice guy. I've had him out 3 or 4 times this year, and the gag groupers really bit for us when he was out, and we had a great time catching them. I think he probably caught 5 of them or something. And
Awesome.
just
Awesome.
I feel like every single charter is a little bit different. And a little bit special. Some of them are short. You have like a half day where you take a young kid out fishing that's never caught a fish before, or an adult that's never caught a fish before,
Right.
and that's just as special as taking someone like Carl out that fishes all the time and has maybe done it before. But yeah, yeah, that was a good trip. Just 3 days ago.
No, that's really cool. And it's good that I love it when you ask that question to a charter captain and they got to sit there and think. And it's because there's a lot of good positive memories going through the head. Well, this guy was great, this family was good, this kid caught his first fish,
Oh yeah.
and we're in this part of the business, you're not only in the entertaining business, you're in the producing business. You've got to produce. And the one thing about that part of Florida, that is such a diverse fishery. If people don't know about that, why don't you talk a little bit about how diverse that fishery is? Because that leads you to be able, not only does your knowledge have to be incredible to go after and chase all those fish, but it also gives you the opportunity when something's not going right, you go, hey, I can probably go do this. So how diverse is that fishery that where your charter service is?
It is very diverse. I mean, the environment here is very productive. We have a good ecosystem out here.
Of all the fish that I've caught, fresh and saltwater, it always cracks me up when I'm watching a bass tournament and the guy's running around the boat, for a 4 pound fish, or a 3 pound fish to land it. Said the only fish that's ever pulled me around a boat is a shark, and literally just pulled me, especially a black tip, has pulled me from one side of the boat to the other where you can't stand still. Um, And if a family were to book a charter with you, what would, and they've got young kids. I'm saying like 10, 12, 4,
Yeah, sure.
that age. What would be a species that you would suggest to them, "Hey, I think we should target this because your family or your kids would have a lot of fun."
Yeah, I think there are quite a few species here that we can target for like a beginner fisher person. Um, so when I take my own kids out, like we recently went out, I have an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old. So we went out. We just trolled around off the beach and caught Spanish mackerel, and they get them like basically one right after another. And the kids really have a lot of fun with that. They also have a lot of fun catching like the panfish, the little grunts and hogfish and stuff like that,
Sure.
where you're just bottom fishing, you drop down a reef fish, and those fish normally you can get one after another as well. So I think just keeping the kids entertained and like actually having action the whole time and getting a bite and just having something pull back on their rod and reel really does it for most kids and like gets them really hooked on fishing, um, because they don't get that everywhere they fish. It's not always
Sure.
like that.
Sure. And you mentioned a fish that I definitely want to talk to you about, and I'm showing it here. And I love
Oh, yeah.
that picture, that hogfish. I don't know why that's a bucket list fish for me, but it just is. I don't remember when the first time I saw one of those, but it just seems like such an odd, unique fish. Tell us a little bit about that fish and when and how you target them.
Well, they are a very unique fish. They're in the wrasse family. So they're a lot of people call them like hog snappers or something like that. They're not actually a snapper. They're wrasse. So they're related to like parrotfish and stuff like that.
Oh wow,
So
okay.
they're a really interesting fish. So they, as you can see in that picture, they have a really big mouth. So I've had the opportunity to see them while I'm diving before, and what really stuck out with me is how they feed. They will basically pick up mouthfuls of sand off the bottom, and they sift that sand through their gills, and they take all the good stuff out of that sand to eat, the little crabs and crustaceans,
Wow.
shrimp, all that sort of stuff. So very unique fish. Now, another weird fact about a hogfish is all hogfish are when they when their eggs hatch, they're female.
Wow.
And at some point in their life, if say there's a big spawning aggregate of fish, one of those or a couple of those females will turn into males. So they all start as females. Very weird fish, I think, in that
It's like
respect.
California.
Right, right. So yeah, and we fish for them with shrimp. They really like crustaceans. You can use small crabs, fiddler crabs, but we typically target them with shrimp. I personally like to fish for them in the colder months. Here, that would be like January to maybe early March or so. I feel like when the water's a little cooler here, the other fish don't bite quite as well, so you can really get the hogfish to feed better that way. And that's typically the time of year when they spawn, so they are schooled up a little more than normally.
Is that like the time of year also to catch like a big one? Because you were telling me before, like you can get them 30 inches. I mean,
I've never caught one that big, but I've seen so the biggest one that I've ever seen, even in a picture, a friend of mine caught, and he caught it on a whole Spanish mackerel. Um,
oh,
while he was offshore commercial fishing.
yeah.
So he had a Spanish mackerel, like a 20-inch fish on for bait, and this thing ate the Spanish mackerel, and it was about, I don't know, a 12 or 13 pound hogfish. So that's pretty huge for a hogfish. Weather cools off here, we get a big run of king mackerel and Spanish mackerel. So they're
Oh,
migratory species. They come
yep.
through here every spring and fall. Typically, when the water temp gets in the low 80s, high 70s, they start to show up, and we will target those on our shorter charters just about until the beginning of the year. Whenever the water temp gets below about 60, they're out of here. They're hanging out down around Key West. With their tropical drinks and all that sort of deal, where it's still warm down there. But um, that's one of the species. Hogfish is another one. Grunts, a bunch of different types of snappers, lane snappers, mangrove snappers, uh, different types of small groupers, scamp groupers, Graysby groupers, which a lot of people call strawberry groupers. There's so many different species here that you can really target. It's hard to list them all. I think there are maybe 200 different
Oh
species of
goodness.
fish you could potentially catch in the Gulf of Mexico. So there are a ton, and those are the most common fish that we see here. But you just never know what you're going to get.
No, that's awesome. And like I said, I just think that is so cool to be able to offer that many different species of fish. Now, what can people expect? Like you're gonna take them out for the day. How do they go about if they wanna sign up with you, if they want to get a charter? What is the process that they go through to do that?
The best way to do that is just to visit our website. We have a really good website, realdealsportfishing.com. You can go right on there. You can see our prices and availability. You are welcome to call our office number. You'll get either Jen or Heather on the phone. You basically bring whatever you want to eat or drink, and we provide everything else for you on the boat. We have two 34-foot boats, like offshore boats, that are very comfortable. You can get out of the weather on those boats. They have a cover. They have like the boat that I run has a cabin. They both have a little restroom on board. So it's comfortable for your family. If you're going to bring, like, we're allowed to carry up to six per vessel. So bringing six people on either vessel, if you have a couple children, you want to bring mom and dad or whoever with you, um, it's comfortable for you. Your family will have a really good time.
That's awesome. We're going to get ready to take a little bit of a break here, usually about 2.5 minutes, and then we're going to come back with Captain Steve, talk some more. That was Chuck Woolery on the dating game or whatever you say. We'll be back in two. And two. There's a throwback for you, huh? Located in Springfield, Illinois' largest selection of sports and sportswear, hunting, fishing, specialty shops and services, a 65-foot Ferris wheel, 16,000-gallon saltwater aquarium, and industry-leading knowledgeable employees. You don't take chances at Shields, ever.
At Lure Parts Online, we have everything you need to make your own lures, tie your own flies, pour soft plastics, and more. Easy ordering ensures you get your products quickly. You can build all you need to create your own angling success at Lure Parts Online. Cast King, fueled by innovation through novel concepts and ingenious designs, markets directly to consumers with unprecedented cost-effective e-commerce practices, cutting costs by 30% more on average. Cast King empowers anglers of all skill levels to achieve things never thought possible. Find out more at castking.com. Mudhole is your number one source for custom fishing rods. Mudhole is the world's largest supplier of rod building supplies, information, education, and instruction. The best components and brands you trust, including MHX, CRB, American Tackle, Pro Products, Fuji, AFCO, and more. It's easy to build your own fishing rods at mudhole.com. Believing quality is measured by lifespan, harnessing their unique chemistry, engineering, and know-how. Dakota Lithium lasts 4 times longer, powering your passions and backing it up with an 11-year warranty. Find out more at dakotalithium.com. There we go. Come here. Get in here. Yeah, nice fish right there. Hi, I'm Jim Crowley. Make sure you catch my show, Jim Crowley Outdoors, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, exclusively on Wired to Fish TV. Look for Jim Crowley Outdoors on Wired to Fish TV on free ad-supported streaming TV, including Plex, that can be downloaded in the App Store at Apple TV, Roku, Samsung, and others. And we are back with Captain Steve from Real Deal Sport Fishing. So glad you took time to join us tonight. We got a couple other, a commercial I actually like. Well, thanks, Stephanie. Oh, I love it. Stephanie, that's great. You win best comment of the night. I'm telling you that right now. Best comment of the night. Oh, a great podcast. Well, Doug, I'm telling you what, I don't know. I think I still like Stephanie's better, but that's a good one. Doug, you come in a quick second. I sure appreciate you guys doing that. I guess I'm buying a new rod. You guys are the best. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Thank you all for having such a good sense of humor and dealing with our commercial break. You know, that's how we got to get paid for the show. And I love the companies that I am blessed and fortunate to work for and with. So thank you all very much for the kind words. And Stephanie, you just made me crack up. So that's awesome. And I didn't know anything about this. I didn't know because your TikTok streams, they even have to be a little bit crazy for you because you're like
crazy.
Yeah, holy cow, this thing is growing. And
it's unbelievable.
And so I started watching it and I'm going, it's a great idea because people can actually be fishing with you live.
Oh yeah.
And not only is it, you know, I've always said, you know, everybody goes, well, what is it like to go live? I'm like, oh, nothing can go wrong live. What? Everything can go wrong live. Everything.
A lot of things go wrong.
I've had the show short out before. I've had when you put yourself out there, and for all you guys that follow Captain Steve, that's awesome because not only are you having a great time, that's obvious by his audience there, but think about this. He's putting himself out there for all of you and the clients that are out there for you guys to see how fun this is. That takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of courage. And it's great entertainment. But tell me how all this started because you even got to think once in a while, this is kind of nuts.
It's been crazy. It's been a whirlwind. Even the past week, we did get to go visit Tik Tok headquarters in New York City. We got invited to go there. So I have a creator manager. I have a guy that actually works for Tik Tok that is my manager as a creator on their app. And they invited me out there. I got to meet a bunch of other creators. Really, there are very few people in the world that are doing what I'm doing. I know of maybe 1 or 2 others that are like live streaming via Starlink. So I have a Starlink on the boat and actually live streaming their entire fishing charter. I have a really good platform. I started doing it. Honestly, I started doing it on Facebook years ago. I would go live in my garage at night and just hang out and shoot the fat with people and just answer questions. And it was mostly people I knew that would come in, and we would just hang out. And I'd have a buddy or two there doing the same thing. And it kind of morphed from that. I stopped doing the Facebook, and I just one day I had my phone and I had just started my TikTok page, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna, live stream a little bit of fishing. And I really didn't like putting my face on there a whole lot. So I pointed the camera away from the boat, or away from my face, like towards the front of the boat. And one day I realized, if I turn the camera around and I talk to people and I really interact, uh, people like that, and people want to be involved and they want to see what you're doing. It's a
Yes.
real life thing. And people,
Yes.
a lot of times, if you're watching TV, it's all fake. You're not seeing anything real on TV for the most part.
100%.
Uh, so they really like to see real life. And sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes my phone overheats. Sometimes it rains. Sometimes, all the different things. The wind's blowing and they can't hear anything I'm saying, but they still tune in and they watch because it's real life. And in real life, everything's not perfect.
No, it's not, and it's funny you said that because my absolute favorite thing to do is I'm fortunate enough to still do a lot of seminars throughout the Midwest, every fishing seminars, and I do quite a few. I do about 50 individual seminars every December through March.
Oh, wow.
And I do a lot with the All Canada show. Anyway, I get to go to a lot of different places, and some of these places have been having me come for 20 years and stuff like that. And the
Sure.
best for me is that live connection with the audience.
Sure.
People do not think this is a big deal of people coming. That's probably second, third. I was like, this is my kind of guy. Exactly. And the audience enjoys it, but we as a presenters, I love it. That's where I feel the most at home, is when I can share my information. I've never said I'm the best at anything. I just truly love and have passion for what I do. So do you.
Right.
And that is exactly, and I'm attracted to those kind of people because I love them, because they always want to make it better. They want it. We're in the business of informing and entertaining.
Right.
And even when you're running a charter all day, your day is to inform, catch fish. That's entertainment.
That's right.
And to do that, and when people can see that live, they start to, and they know that you're telling the truth, and people can tell that. I still believe in people enough to know they know when you're telling the truth, and they know when you're sincere. And that's why
Absolutely.
I've always said I don't have the biggest audience out there, but I love my audience. I hope it grows by tonight, because some of these people love you, which is awesome, and they're attracted to people who just want people to have more fun and enjoy the sport of fishing, or enjoy the, whatever you want to call it, the lifestyle of it or whatever. But
Yep.
that is where the passion, that I honestly think, that is not only what keeps us younger, but that's what keeps us driving to always be better, to always do something in whatever skill we're at. If you have passion about it, like you do, like I do, it's just, I think people are attracted to that because it is real. You can't fake that. People are smart enough to see, in most cases, see through that fakeness.
Oh, yeah.
And on
Well,
top of
the
it, it's so much
fishing.
fun, and I know you enjoy doing it.
Yeah, well, the charter fishing thing in general, you really have to be a people person. That's 90% of that job is, and it's not even a job. It is a lifestyle. It's how you live your
Yeah.
life. You live your life fishing. I want to fish every single day. When I'm not fishing, when I'm not taking people fishing for money, I take
I
my
want to
small
fish.
boat out. I take my
Yep.
kids fishing. I take my friends fishing. Like, that's what I love to do. If I wasn't doing it for a living, I would be wishing I was fishing every single day. And that's what I used to do before I fished for a living. I did construction work, and every day I would drive to work. And I live in a beautiful place here where there is water absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
And every ditch and every creek here in Florida has a fish in it. So I can go over here um, to this little ditch across the street and catch bluegills if I want to right now.
Yeah.
So I would drive to work every morning and I would say, "Oh my goodness, what am I doing again? How am I going to get out of work today so I can go fishing?" And I eventually got a job as a deckhand, and I learned that you can do this for a living if you work hard at it and
Mhm.
you are consistent, you show up every day. You're
Oh,
great with people. You have to be able to. You have to really like people, and
yeah.
that's something that I love people. I love to be able to communicate with people. I like to know where you're from, and your children, like how many kids you have, and are they playing sports? What do they do? And
Yeah.
what's going on in your life? And you really get to make a lot of good friends that way. And I've been able to do that on TikTok to such a huge level. Um, it's not like there's only 6 people on the boat with me anymore. Now there are thousands. I mean, sometimes at the end of the day, we have a live stream. We had 100,000 people watched us fish that day throughout the course of the day.
I gotta put that up. That's funny.
Oh,
This
I
is not
saw that.
fishing
I did
dropping
drop my
ball.
wallet in the water the other day. That was something. But that's an example. It's never
It's real.
perfect. It's never
It's real.
perfect. It's real. That's
It
right.
is the real deal.
So they got to see me jump in the water and fish around for my credit cards and my ID that fell out of my wallet. Oh yeah. 2 days before I'm supposed to fly to New York, I lose my driver's license.
Oh, excuse me, officer. It's 30 foot down. That they're like, oh, well, you haven't heard that one before, right?
Oh yeah.
Haven't heard that one before.
I run the Real Deal 2, Captain DJ. That's his nickname, DJ. His real name is Danny Pate, but he runs the Real Deal. He's been running my boat the past couple days because his boat's had some mechanical issues we have to work on tomorrow. But
And
another
he
great
had his
captain.
wallet.
Yeah, right. He used to work like you saw his profile picture there. He did work in Alaska last winter. Really good guy as well. So whichever boat you get in our between our two, you're gonna have a great time with either one. We're both really good with people, really good with children. He has a son as well. He's 8 years old. So either way, you guys your family is going to be in great hands with an experienced captain that wants to catch fish and wants you to have
What right?
a great time.
And I've always said the best guys, the best charter captains, um, they want you to catch fish.
Oh
You
yeah.
and I had a joke with some charter captains I had in Lake Michigan before, and they were telling me stories, what, the client would try to tighten the drag when they're not supposed to and do all that. And I go, when all else fails, do me a favor, listen to the captain. Just listen to the captain. Um, he brought you out there for a reason. Yeah, he's making money, but the idea is for you to catch fish. So hopefully you have an enjoyable experience and come back. So if you're not sure what to do, listen to the captain.
Oh yeah.
It's so and I'm sure you've had some experiences like that. It sounds like you've had a lot more positive ones than
Well, I
than
always
not.
joke about the people that catch the most fish on on our charters are women and children. And the
Sure,
reason that is because they don't have any bad habits.
right?
So they
They listen.
listen to the captain, you hand them the fishing rod, you show them how to use it, you give them a little bit of instruction, and they actually listen. They're not professionals yet,
Not
and they
yet.
catch
Yep.
more fish than everybody else,
Yeah.
right? And then
Yeah.
dad's standing over there. I'll tell you a story about this. So I had a guy, do you know who Babe Winkleman is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I took him fishing one time. I had no idea who he was, right?
Okay.
He's a walleye fisherman. I think he fished out of Wisconsin or something like that. A professional. He had his own television show,
Yep.
all that stuff. I didn't know who the guy was, right? He was just another guy to me. He brought his wife, and we went fishing, and she caught 5 keeper grouper that day.
Mhm.
Babe Winkleman, I tried to tell him, and these walleye guides, they just cannot help but set the hook to save their life. So so the entire time we're fishing, and he is just getting so frustrated with it. And his wife's
Oh,
catching one after another. She's
yeah.
listening, she's just reeling. I'm like, reel, 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 reel. And she does it and catches them. And every single bite he would get, he jerks up, sets the hook. And so we use circle hooks. It just pulls the hook right out of the fish's mouth. You're never going to hook them that way.
Never,
Uh,
ever, ever,
Ever. Yep, not a single time.
ever.
So um that was, and that sort of thing happens all the time. I just thought it was interesting. I found out that who I had on the boat was Babe Winkleman because one of the guys that used to fish down there a lot, who actually now owns a charter boat there, is from Wisconsin. So I get him from the charter and I get done cleaning their fish and do all that stuff. And Cheddar, that's his name, that's his nickname. He comes up and he's like, "You know who that was, right?" And I'm like, No, I have no I have no idea who it was, but it's Gabe Winkleman, you know. So I actually got to take him fishing one time. I didn't realize who it was at the time. I would have probably got his autograph and fanboyed and all that stuff. But pretty cool story about that,
I would have gave him a pack of circle hooks. That's what I would have done.
though. And told him to practice.
That's exactly it. I was waiting for you to finish my sentence. That's it. Um, no, that's really funny. It sounds about right. Anyway, um, it's I've always thought that is especially when and like I got to do my first tarpon trip last year, and I've
Oh,
never
cool.
done that before, and I got to do it with a really good friend, and I'm like, dude, talk to me like I'm stupid because I don't know
Right.
what to do. I
Yeah.
don't.
Just explain it to me.
Yeah, I had built a rod, which what I thought going through talking to the guys at Mudhole, I had built a rod for this. Well, it turns out it got so tough, we actually seriously dropped down to like what you would use for smallmouth or walleyes and a number two hook, and
Right.
trying to keep that fish from jumping. And he's yelling at me the whole time, you know, and I'm trying to follow, but the fish is quicker than I can react
Oh,
to
yeah.
this. And he goes, "Hey, I didn't mean to be yelling at you." I go, "Hey, look, I'm here to learn, man." I'm like, and we got that fish in. How Weaver got that tarpon in on that little 2-0 hook.
That's
What
pretty impressive.
still it still amazes me. The show was great. I was shaking. I mean, I was literally just shaking afterwards because the adrenaline was pumping, and but it was a learning experience. And there's you and I were talking about a little bit before about bucket list fish, and especially when you're going after something. I've fished for over 50 years, but when I encounter a new fish, you're always going to be a better angler if you learn from somebody who knows more than you. I think that
Right.
just goes in life, right? So when you're on somebody's boat, it 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 really will benefit you to listen to that charter captain because they want you to succeed. You had mentioned about men and women before, and I do a seminar once in a while called Bait Casting 101. It's teaching people how to throw bait
I need
casting.
that so bad.
Not 9 times out of 10, exactly what your words, what you said. The people who learn the easiest are women and children, and women are number one. And there's a reason for that. One, because they listen, and two, because they're not a professional.
That's right. That's
They
exactly right. They don't think they're a professional.
no, they want to know. So they want to listen and they want to learn. Where
Yep.
guys already are like, well, I've been doing this forever. I can know this. Okay, well, your preconceived notions will set you back or help you to you're going to have to break those bad habits. So it's interesting you say that. I've always said that women can be when it comes to slow methodical fishing, 10 to 1 women are better than guys are
They're
because
better. They're more
they have
patient.
patience.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, guys get frustrated so easily. You miss 2 fish and you're frustrated, and then they don't listen anymore. They go back to however they do it when they're bass fishing
Yeah.
or whatever, walleye fishing or whatever it may be, and it's just not every type of fishing is a little bit different. If I
Yeah.
go on somebody else's boat, like Tim Denmark, I went bluegill fishing with him. I'm going to listen to what he says. I'm going to
Sure.
I am a professional fisherman. I get paid to do it. I don't get paid to fish for those species though.
Right.
So you can learn something every single time you're fishing. Even like the fish that I fish for all the time, um, I still learn stuff all the time. I go out there and I'm like, oh, they like this a little different than this, and they'll bite this a little
That's
bit
right.
better than that. And
That's right.
if you're always learning and always changing your tactics and strategies on how to get them, you're gonna do much better than somebody that is just dead set on this is the only way to do it. Because there's definitely more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak.
And Tim had to chime in on this one. He said, "Yeah, he can't work a cane pole yet." You know what, Tim? Give him a chance, buddy. Just it's all I'm saying is just give him a chance. And it's just like circle hooks. When I first learned about circle hooks, and it was fish and saltwater where I first really did, and it was on snappers. And you just cannot. They're not designed that way. They're not designed to set the hook. They're
That's
designed
right.
for the fish to set the hook on themselves. We
Yep.
just got done in Manitoba fishing big catfish on the Red River, and Manitoba is all barbless. Well, that's fine. And it's awesome on circle hooks because the circle hook locks that fish in with all the big monster cats we caught. We never lost
Oh
a
yeah,
one. Once
that's
those
pretty
circle
good.
hooks are in, I've got more confidence in a circle hook than I do in regular hooks, depending on the species that you're fishing for. Because once that circle hook's locked in, you keep pressure on that fish, it ain't going anywhere, is it?
It's not. I absolutely prefer circle hooks over J hooks. I think that
Yeah.
if you know how to use them, if you Um, know how to set the hook with a J hook, like just reel and just come
Yep.
tight, and that hook gets the fish in the corner of the mouth just about every time.
Yep.
So once you learn how to use a circle hook, it is way better than a J hook. You don't lose as many fish.
Nope.
The fish can't really shake its head and throw the hook out. It can't spit the hook. Once you have them hooked, for the most part, you have that fish. Of
Yeah.
course, the fish wants to get away. There's nothing you can do about that. The fish always wants to get away. If
Well,
you
sure.
want the fish, that's what I tell people on my charters all the time. You have to want to catch that fish more than that fish wants to live. so you really got to put some effort into it. They don't just catch themselves.
And especially saltwater, because those fish are a lot stronger in just about
Yeah.
every case, in most cases, than they are in freshwater. And I've told high school bass anglers before, I said, every opportunity you have to fish for another species of fish, do it. And the reason for that is because it will teach you several different things. One is that you will become more attentive to bites because
Oh yeah.
bites are different from different fish. The other thing is the more you learn how to fight fish, and there's a difference between catching fish and learning actually how to fight a fish. And
Absolutely.
especially in saltwater, you better learn how to fight a fish and you better pay attention to that captain when he tells you to reel, 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 because he knows that fish better than you do. And
Oh
though,
yeah.
and every fish, although they're going to fight basically the same, they're going to have their little nuances where some are going to make longer runs than others. Some are going to make that. I always told pike and muskie guys the worst possible position you can be in is when you have that big fish next to the boat and he's looking eye to eye at you when they come, because chances are there's at least one good last strong run in that fish. And watch from that dorsal fin to the back tail. That's going to move first. As soon as that moves, get ready.
Uh huh.
But you only do that by being on the water. I guarantee you there are certain species of fish that when you hook up, you can probably look at that rod tip and tell that guy 9 times out of 10 what that fish is, isn't it?
I can do that with most fish that we catch.
Yep.
When somebody hooks a fish, I 9 times out of 10 know what kind of fish it is.
Yeah.
We can be 100 feet of water. They hook it. I'm like, well, that's probably a red snapper. That's probably a grouper. That's probably whatever it may be.
Just hit it with your purse, man. I love it.
I do
I
say that
love
a
it.
little bit.
Oh, that's funny.
That's
That's
usually when
hilarious.
somebody's, over the
Yeah.
rail, the rod tips in the water. I'm like, hike up your skirt and hit it with your purse.
No
Let's
kidding. No kidding.
go.
Put your big boy pants on and pull up on that fish
That's
for crying out
right.
loud. Oh, this is great. Oh, you and I would get in trouble together, buddy. I'm just telling you right now. That'd be a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Hey, so before we let you go, run through the whole thing one more time about how people can find you. And folks, if you haven't been, obviously, if you've been with Captain Steve, you know. If you haven't, look him up, check it out, because the worst thing that could happen is you can make a new friend and have a great time with your family in a beautiful part of Florida that has so many different species and so many different adventures that you could probably have in just one outing. Steve, tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, you can find us at realdealsportfishing.com. That's our website. We're also on social media, Real Deal Sport Fishing, Real Deal Clearwater. You can find me live on pretty much every single charter that I go on our TikTok page at Real Deal Clearwater. I do stream pretty much every single charter. I do a lot of other things as well. We do some podcasts and stuff like that. The best thing to do is, but if you want to book, realdealsportfishing.com, go on there. You can book right online. You can see our prices, availability. You can see we post pictures and videos of pretty much every single catch that we have. Um, you can call our office, talk to the girls here in the office, my beautiful wife, Heather, and my beautiful sister-in-law, Jen. Either one of those can answer any questions you have. If they can't answer your questions, they will make you call me and I can answer them for you, no problem.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome, man. I thank you so much. And for those of you who chimed in, I hope some of you stay on because we're going to give you some discount codes. We're also going to give something away tonight. But for those of you new to the audience tonight, and there was a good bunch of you tonight, thank you so much for joining us with Captain Steve. And just letting you know, we'll give all the information about my social media as well too. We appreciate all of you coming on and stay tuned, like I said, because we're going to give some stuff away here in just a little bit. But Steve, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you being out. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully, maybe we can get down there, maybe the winter months or even beginning of the year, and maybe get down there and
Absolutely.
see if we can hook up and spend a day with you because that would be. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun. That would be a really crazy live event, dude. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun, Jim. It's been a pleasure talking with you as well. It was nice to meet you at ICAST again. That seems like so long ago now,
Oh,
but
I know it goes by so fast.
it really does. I'm sure I'll see you again next year there. We'll be back.
Yeah,
Definitely, God willing, and the water doesn't rise, or however that goes, we'll be there. Um, it was a pleasure being on your show. Great time, great talking with you again. I'd love to have you out fishing sometime.
me too.
Um, yeah,
But
yeah. Thank you so
and
much.
tell Heather thanks for figuring out the stuff that the little experiment we did the other day, trying to figure this all out, how to hook it up. So
I'm glad we did that.
that's
I know.
always that's why I do a practice run, dude. Because
She
sometimes
keeps it all together for me.
she was great. God bless you both. I wish you all continued success, much success. May God bless your business with getting even bigger than it is now, and all your wonderful people and all the smiles and happiness that you bring to so many people. It was a pleasure to have you on. I look forward to seeing and talking with you soon, my friend.
Thank you, Jim.
What a great guy. And thank you to all of you for being on tonight. Fun. I love talking just real fishing with real people, cracking jokes and having fun. That's what I love. That's why I love doing this podcast because it's a lot of fun like that. For those of you joining us tonight that haven't been on here before, I'm going to tell you just, I'm going to do this too. We're going to give you a Lure Parts Online discount code. Okay, so if you go to order something from Lure Parts Online, so if you build your own lures, okay, and you can check out our Bass Academy line of plastics, which is where the wiggle stick is. So if you go to Lure Parts Online, if you decide to get something, put in and check out this code JC Outdoors 10. That code JC Outdoors 10, that will get you 10% off on your order from Lure Parts. Okay. I've been using Cast King reels for years. They work on both my shows. I'm gonna tell you this code I'm giving you right now, JC52AFF. That is 20% off anything and everything at Cast King. What I'm telling you is you'll never pay retail again. That code, anything at Cast King, anything they have, you can use that code as much as you want, whenever you want, give it out to friends. That code right there, JC52AFF at Cast King, will get you 20% off, period, for whatever as much as you want. Any of you guys want lithium batteries? We know they're expensive, but Dakota Lithium's got an 11-year warranty on theirs. Put in this code for Dakota Lithium Slickfish 10, you get 10% off your order of lithium batteries. 10% off on a lithium battery is a big deal. Okay. So if you want anything from Dakota Lithium, there's your code, Slickfish10, right there. And you can do that. So I want to thank all of our friends over at Shields. I also want to thank our friends at Lure Parts Online, Casking, of course. Mudhole, my signature series rod kits are now available at Mudhole. Just look up Jim Crowley rod kits on Mudhole, and you can have everything you want to build certain types of rods. You'll see it all there. It's pretty cool. Please follow us on social media, all our pages on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I got a great little section on YouTube. It's called DIY Fishing on the Jim Crowley Outdoors page. We show you how to build rods. We show you how to build lures, so you can subscribe to all of that. Lots of fun stuff, anything and everything fishing. That's what we try to do at Jim Crowley Outdoors. I'm so thankful for all of you joining us tonight. What a blast. What an absolute blast. Thanks to Captain Steve again for joining us from Real Deal and all your kind comments and all your nice stuff. You know what? God bless you all. I really, truly appreciate you watching tonight. I had a blast tonight. We got another show coming up next week. If I'm not mistaken, our guest next week is MLF Pro James Elam. So make sure you join. Just like the pages on Facebook, and you'll always make sure you can catch us live because we're almost always doing giveaways. We're having fun like this, and I wouldn't be able to have all this fun if it wasn't for all of you. God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of the week. We'll see you soon.